Thanks for having me. It's definitely an honor. Been really busy, so I haven't had a lot of time to do guest spots, unfortunately. But it is fun when I get to do it. So,
Hmm. Well, okay. So, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Let's welcome officially our guest for today, and his name is Keith, and he goes by Technus. Is that
yeah.
okay? Great. And so, let's learn from Keith. So, tell me a little bit. We were talking offline, but we can now go ahead and discover more his personality as well as his work. So, tell us, sir, what do you do normally?
It's kind of a mixture of a lot of things, honestly. I'm known for a lot of things. Back years ago, I started out as a tattoo artist, and I transitioned from that into my clothing business.
Uh-huh.
And from there, I got into MMA fighting and made a name for myself doing that.
Wow.
And then because of that, I've had all these doors kind of open up, different opportunities for me that I don't have to get punched in the face for a living anymore. I could go do other things that are safer.
Yeah.
So I'm actually currently in podcasting, of course, radio show host,
Mhm.
and had a lot of really cool guests, a lot of celebrity guests on my show,
Mhm.
and that I'm friends with, and also now getting into movies. So
Oh, wow.
yeah, I've been cast as a lead for a movie, and I've just finished writing a screenplay of my own for a movie that will hopefully be in production 2021.
Oh, great. So tell us which movie were you in?
The one I've been cast for, it's actually in production right now. It'll probably start filming 2021. It's a horror movie.
Oh,
Um, and
oh,
there's not a lot exposed yet about it. It's still kind of, a little bit surprise for people, but, that it's still in development. The script is being polished. So I don't know a lot about it yet.
oh, okay, no problem. No worries. So but it's very fascinating, that your personality evolved over so many genres, and now you're doing such a fantastic creative work. So, tell me also, I think you're also into music.
I used to be, and like not so much now, but I know so many people that are, so I kind of help them, any way I can.
Mhm.
But mainly now, it's like the movie thing is my big thing that I'm looking forward to getting into because it's definitely different. I never, thought of myself as an actor of any type, but it just seems like a natural transition. I guess art is, something that
Mhm.
I'm so familiar with that once I can kind of, you know, understand the art side of it, I pick up on things pretty easy. So
Cool.
um, yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, it just kind of blew up where it's
Mhm.
immediately first role is a lead role, then being asked to write a screenplay and a script. So I've been working on that recently. And it's just, yeah, I mean, it is kind of a wide range of different careers and experiences.
Mhm.
But I've also, done a lot of motivational speaking because of that, because people that have seen the documentary about my life know that my life has been extremely difficult,
Mhm.
to say the least. I had to quit high school as a teenager to support myself at a 9 to 5 job because I left home at 15 to get out of a bad situation. So I had to get myself a place to live, right? So, um, it ended up becoming so clear to me that I think that people go through these existential crisis kind of situations with themselves because for some reason they let the world convince them that they're not capable of doing what they want to do,
Mhm.
and I don't think they give up on their dream enough to stop fantasizing about it, but they certainly give up on it enough to not pursue it. But doing whatever career they feel they have to do, they're not enjoying it. It's kind of soul crushing. um, and I think they're kind of stuck in the middle. I think people need to just, they owe it to themselves, I think, to just pursue whatever it is you're interested in doing, and just go for it because you can do it. It's not It's not as impossible as people think. I mean, I've had so many doors open for me that I never considered, just because I come with a certain energy of like, a positive mindset. Like I'll do it, I'll give something a shot and give it 110%. Because I never tell myself I can't do something.
Yeah, and I think you're absolutely right. Your creative mind, you have to let it flow. And the problem is, people, some, including me. I mean, I don't know, how many capabilities you could actually do well. I mean, I'm doing TV now. After my medicine career, still working as a doctor, but this is I enjoy a lot, and I never thought I would be in the media. And like you said, I have also done movie, so I'm now writing a script actually. So that is fascinating. See, I can see so many parallels when you're talking about writing. So I wrote a book that was on diet, sleep, lifestyle. Then now I think I submitted one script to Netflix, but it didn't materialize. But that's okay. That's normal, right?
Oh
So
yeah.
that's normal. So, but we are writing now a script, and so that is fascinating. That when you were talking about that, I said, "Wow, he's exactly. I think he's my brother." So from another mother, so I said, "Wow, that is fascinating." But that is very cool. So tell me a little bit about. I mean, I'm always intrigued by tattoos. So so tell me, I'll start with tattoos. So tell me about tattoos. Are you still doing tattoos?
I don't as much now, but I want to get back into it. The problem with that is because everybody knows they're not cheap. And so all of a sudden, when people know that you're doing them, you find that immediately you seem to have 90 some best friends that you didn't know you had. And everybody wants to be close to the person that does it so they can get something for free. Kind of takes the fun out of it. You know what I mean? And I love art so much that I didn't want to like start to resent it or hate it. So I just kind of walked away from it and pursued other things because it can get pretty demanding and everybody wants something for nothing. And at the end of the day, we all have those things they call bills, right? We got to pay those things. They don't stop coming, right? And you can't pay those when everybody wants something for free. So it just kind of got to a point where if I'm not enjoying it anymore, I don't want to start to dislike art. So if it starts to feel like a chore rather than something I enjoy, I think it's time to move on. So, but I feel like I'm going to get back into it. There's a few people in the Hollywood industry, especially, that said that I will be the only one to ever do any tattoos on them from this point on.
Wow.
So now I get to do that on my terms, on a selective basis, which is nice. So that allows me to enjoy it again. So
No, that is very cool. Now tell me a little bit about. I've never been to a tattoo shop, so for tattoo, I know it's a lot of needlework, and they do. But do you imprint the design already and just work on it, or do you also create a design?
Yeah, typically what happens is either the client will bring in their design that they want, or you could, draw it up, design something, and you do a stencil, and then you put the stencil on. So you're basically following the lines of the stencil. So it makes it a little bit easier, but it's still by no means an easy industry. But I think, what might surprise you is anybody can do it that doesn't have an artistic background. It's not about being an artist necessarily. It's more about being a mechanic, understanding the machine, why it works the way it does. So if something goes wrong with it, you know how to fix it and make it work properly. It's really a lot more like when you start out, anyone that's experienced will have you take the machine apart and put it back together multiple times till you really understand the inner workings of it. Because at the end of the day, that's really what's doing the work. It's not about your eye for art. It's following a guideline and making sure the machine is doing what it's supposed to do.
So there is, of course, but it needs a lot of patience and not a lot of work to even work on that. and concentration, not to mention. So you're working on, very close to someone for a long time. So it's like, dental work, but that is but it's kind of same, but you have to be very careful, but it needs a lot of patience, right? So
Oh
when you're doing it, do you how do you keep focus? Do you take breaks, or do you play music, or what do you?
yeah, when you're doing large pieces, it's actually beneficial to both parties, you and the client, to kind of take that breather to stretch, and especially when they're like several hour pieces. I've been on the receiving end quite a bit, where I've had work done on me that was about 7.5 hours or 6 hours. So
Wow.
yeah, they do want to kind of take a break, and that's fine. It lets you stretch, get the feeling back in your legs, and but to pass the time, honestly, usually it's just good conversation. You get to hear the story of your clients, or your artist, whichever side of the machine you're on, and good conversation usually makes the time fly. So it is excruciating when you have people that aren't big talkers. So you have that weird, awkward silence that you don't really like. So then music is great.
Oh, okay, so you keep them entertained. So
Right.
yeah, I mean, I can't imagine 6, 7 hours. Oh my God, there will be a lot of conversation for you. Mm. So tell me, who loves most tattoos, girls or boys? I mean, men or women?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, it's become so mainstream that I think it's kind of right down the middle. There's a lot of guys that have a fair amount, and there's a lot of women now getting them too. Way back years ago, it wasn't so common. It seemed like only certain types of people would have tattoos, and they were much more of an old school style. And now it's just so mainstream, and the style is more modern, and it seems like everybody and his brother is getting them. It's unfortunately, some people don't even care if they have meaning. They just want something because it's popular now. And but I think it's a pretty much down the middle, gender wise. I think everybody is just into it,
Mm.
uh, which is great. I mean, if it's the appreciation for art, then that's great. But there are people that get them for the wrong reasons. But I really couldn't say if one gender has more tendency than the other.
Mm.
It's just become so popular, and mainstream popular culture to have tattoos that I think it's pretty even.
Okay. Well, I want to also ask you, because I think I encountered few of those. So that they were few people I know. They were young and they got the tattoo and everything. Lot of emotions going on. But then, unfortunate happened that there was a break up. And then what? Then what happens to tattoo?
Oh yeah, everybody goes through that. I think a lot of people anyway. I mean, as an artist, sometimes we feel responsible to kind of say you're gonna regret this, but okay. I mean, but usually, yeah, with that comes an expensive cover up where you you go in and you get them to do something bigger that covers up the old one, and it costs more money, so you're kind of paying for it twice. Um, Not the smartest move.
So you uncover, but I saw, we have a machine actually to do the laser tattoo removal. So does that work?
It does, but it's a lot more painful than getting the tattoos themselves, and it's extremely expensive. Like the size of a dime, I think, is a couple $1,000 just to remove it. So it's not ideal.
It's not idea. So, and then of course, it's painful, as you said. But so before somebody gets tattoo, of course, you counsel them that just if it's more emotional tattoo, like and you want get removed later on, then might be pros and cons.
Yeah, I think people really need to be aware that as much as they might love the idea, it is in fact permanent, and not everything can be covered up very well.
Mm.
Sometimes things are done in such a way that it's really hard to cover them, and sometimes even if they can be covered, it's going to cost you a fortune. And if you can't afford it, then you got to
Mm.
think about the future, right? And not do things that you're going to regret, not get things that are okay for that time in your life, that phase of life. You never know how you're going to feel a couple of years later.
That's true. That's true. Now, do you ever have an option of a temporary kind of tattoo or temporary ink and see how they like it, and then if they really like it, then change it to tattoo?
Yeah, I have in fact recommended to people just leaving the stencil on for a while and get used to seeing it. And if they this like usually if they're not certain and they're kind of looking at it and they're like, yeah, I kind of like it. And you're not certain, and that's forever. So, just kind of wear this for a while, because the stuff that I use to apply the stencil is aloe based, and it actually takes about 7 days to be able to wash it off with just soap and water. So it gives them time to really get familiar with seeing it and see how they feel about it. And usually those people don't come back to get it permanent because they realize, yeah, this probably isn't the right thing for me, So it's a good method.
So yeah, so it lasts 7 days, but there's nothing like 30 days, 3 months type. But they can keep coming back getting stencil if they really are unsure, right? Or they
I
probably.
mean, yeah, they could. I mean, it depends on the shop too, who wants to do that. Some people won't do that at all. Some people are like, don't waste my time.
Mm.
Me personally, I think it's worth it, especially when they're on the younger side and it's their first one. And you can tell when someone's getting something done for the sake of getting it done and not, they just don't want to not have anything anymore, but they haven't thought it through. They haven't really committed to it, so. Um,
Okay. Also, tell me a little bit about, you mentioned aloe-based dye you use, and so those are any allergies people develop or reactions?
No, with the aloe based, it's literally like almost like a aloe based skin cream or something that puts the stencil on because it's like a carbon copy.
Hmm.
So the back of the tracing paper gets the blue ink, and the stencil stuff. It's literally what it's called. This is called stencil stuff. It's a brand. It's aloe based, great for the skin. It makes your skin soft and all that. And it basically applies the stencil onto the skin and
Hmm.
stays there. So when you're wiping the ink and the blood and all that, it doesn't take the stencil off. So you're not left trying to figure out where your design is. And it's actually very good for the skin. With ink, however,
Hmm.
red is a common color that does cause an allergy, like an allergic reaction to to a lot of people. But the allergy is simple. It's just it'll get a little bit on the red side and kind of itchy, but it's harmless.
Hmm.
People are in fact allergic to red pigment for some reason.
Okay, so they get rid. Okay, also tell me a little bit which parts of the body are easy to do, and I'm sure that people who get first time, where should they get first?
I think across the board, even back when tattooing just started to really become popular, it was pretty well discovered. The bicep is pretty painless for the most part,
Uh-huh.
um, in comparison to other options, of course. I would suggest if you don't want something extremely painful, stay away from the ribs or the tricep behind, the back of the arm. The inside of the bicep, the inside of the arm is very sensitive, but anything on bone is extremely painful.
Mm. And below the navel, is it painful?
Oh, actually, yeah, extremely. Anything on the stomach, on the torso is usually pretty bad because you're hitting muscle too, right? At that
Mm.
point, and it's typically unpleasant.
It's typically. So, what about do you need any other precautions testing wise? Do they worry about that if they have any problems communicating any disease or anything?
Oh yeah, shops. have to be randomly inspected by the health department every so often, and their paperwork has to be there for them to look through to make sure that their sterilization machines have been investigated and checked and made sure that they've been serviced regularly and are up to standard. And that's for those that reuse any kind of needles. Personally, I don't believe in reusing them. I throw them out, one and done. Burn them, bend them, throw them away kind of deal, and safely dispose of them. I don't like the idea or the practice of reusing needles. I know it's costly to have to keep buying new ones, but I think it's a safer practice personally. But yeah, the thing is too that people have to understand is a lot of people have a mentality of once they put their money down, they've done their part. And that's not true. You have to take care of it when it's done so it doesn't get infected, because it is technically an open wound. Even though you can't see the little pinholes, it is still an open wound, and you have to take care of it, keep it, from getting infected. That is the responsibility, of course, of the client. So far too often people will neglect theirs. It'll get infected because they're not taking care of it. And then they'll say the shop did it, and it's like, no, that had nothing to do with them. They were clean. Never had any problems, but you didn't keep it cleaned out. So
and that is true. So also, let's talk a little bit about your lifestyle. I mean, you keep yourself in good shape. So tell us about, what, how do you do that?
I live for the gym. Honestly, that's like therapy to me. I spend as many hours as I can in the gym. A lot of days, ideally 4 hours in the gym, just lifting weights. As much as possible. Fasted cardio 3 times a week, which I think is a great practice. So basically I take BCAAs, which is branched chain amino acids, to prevent the muscle from breaking down, and not eating anything and doing cardio on the treadmill. So what that does is it forces the body to draw energy by burning fat stores to get you through the workout. So I do about an hour of cardio 3 days a week on an empty stomach, then come home, eat my breakfast and all that, and then go back and lift weights. And it's a lifestyle. It's definitely something you have to commit to. And I think everybody should. I think it's really good. You don't have to be huge or anything if you don't want, that kind of size, but you can still lift weights and keep your blood flowing and your heart rate in good shape without having to get size. Not everybody wants to be big, but there's still ways to take care of yourself, and proper diet, of course, is obviously, like, I don't eat junk of any kind. I don't do sugar and all that stuff and candy. I eat a lot of protein filled foods and clean carbs like rice and potatoes and stuff like that.
Okay, so keep yourself in good shape. So we'll be definitely looking forward to your screenwriting capabilities. So you want to tell us a little bit about what subject or what topic would that be?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's actually, this screenplay I just wrote is based off of a video game that is a little bit on the obscure side. It wasn't super popular, but the people that have played it love it. And at the end of it, it kind of could be conveyed as a horror movie if you pitch it that way. But at the end of the day, really, I think it's a love story between the two main characters, and there's just a little horror aspect in between. So I think people might be pleasantly surprised with it.
Okay, very nice, very nice. Well, we really look forward to your movies, and you say when your movie will be out, let us know, and we'll be very happy to promote that for you.
Oh, thanks so much.
Well, thank you. So tell me where people can check you out. I know you do podcasting, so you can tell about your address and so forth, so people can check you out.
Oh, perfect. I'm all over the place, man. The show is on Pandora, iHeartRadio, Apple, every main platform at this point, really. Tatnisco.com is where there's a lot of videos, YouTube, just kind of all over the place. Instagram, Twitter. I've got so many things I can't keep up with it all.
Very nice, very nice. Well, congratulations on all that, and good luck on your movies. And so, we'll definitely check back with you. But if people want to get a tattoo from him, there's a long line. So, sure, they can check your work. And any final message you have for my audience?
Um, like I said, man, if there's something you want to do in life, you only have, such an amount of time that we don't even know. So go for it. Don't hold yourself back. The only limitations you have are the ones you create for yourself in your head, man. Don't let people tell you what you're capable of or not capable of, because only you can decide that.
Mhm. And that is such a great, straight, simple, but very effective message. And thank you with that. I would really thank for coming to our show and giving us such an opportunity for people to learn about your work, as well as learn your philosophy of life and lifestyle. And people can definitely check you out. And thank you once again for coming to our show. Take care.
Oh, thanks so much for having me, man. It was a great time.
Take it. Thanks. Bye.